So what's the real difference between just good teaching and teaching that actually changes the way someone thinks? Well, it's all about moving past telling students what to think and instead showing them how to think. Let's get into it and really explore how to teach the art of thinking itself.
You know, this is the fundamental question, right? For every single educator. It's one thing to fill someone's head with facts and dates, but are we actually giving them the tools, the mental frameworks they need to go out and solve new problems? It's a huge challenge, for sure, but we can absolutely tackle it with the right approach.
And the key, really, is to realize that every single field, whether it's history, engineering, art, you name it, has its own unique way of looking at the world. It has its own intellectual secret sauce. So teaching isn't just about the content anymore. It's about initiating students into that very specific, powerful way of thinking.
There's actually a great term for this from the scholar Lee Schulman, signature pedagogies. And this is a huge deal because it's not just about learning skills, it's about forming an identity. Just think about it, right? Law schools use the Socratic method, not just to teach law, but to teach students to think like lawyers. Medical schools use bedside teaching to train doctors. It's all about learning to act and to reason like an expert in that field.
Okay, so how do we actually do this in our own classrooms? The goal isn't to chase after one single perfect method. It's about building a versatile, practical toolbox. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack 3 really powerful tools you can start using pretty much right away.
First up, we've got a classic, and it's a classic for a reason: Socratic questioning. Now, this isn't about drilling your students to find the one right answer. Not at all. It's about using these structured, thoughtful questions to guide them, to help them examine their own logic, discover insights for themselves, and really take ownership of their learning.
And look, this isn't just about firing off random questions. It's about using specific types to really push the conversation deeper. You've got clarification questions to make sure everyone's on the same page, probing questions that ask for evidence, and viewpoint questions that encourage students to step into someone else's shoes. It's like a roadmap for critical thinking.
Now, to really make this work, there are a few key things to remember. It helps to plan your main questions ahead of time, but this is the big one. Allow for silence. Seriously, give students at least 30 seconds to actually think before they jump in. That wait time, that's where the magic, the real thinking happens. And then, following up on what they say shows you're actually listening and helps build the whole discussion.
All right, let's keep that idea of dialogue going with our second tool, classroom debates. And let's be clear, this is not about winning an argument. It's an incredible way to help students see that complex issues always have multiple valid perspectives. It forces them to make their own arguments stronger and to genuinely listen to what their peers have to say.
And here is a fantastic, super-structured way to do this. It's called the cooperative controversy method. Every single student gets engaged because the debate happens inside their own little group of 4. It's collaborative, it's active, and it stops those 1 or 2 loud voices from taking over the whole conversation. The whole class learns how to disagree agreeably.
And for our third and final tool, we've got something really versatile, a framework for organized thinking called the 6 Thinking Hats from Edward de Bono. The big idea here is simple but brilliant. Separate out the different ways we think: logic, emotion, creativity, so you can focus on just one at a time. This stops your brain from getting chaotic and leads to way more balanced decisions.
So let's quickly walk through the hats. The white hat, that's all about objective facts and data. No opinions, just what we know. The red hat is for feelings, gut reactions, intuition, and you don't have to justify it. The black hat is the cautious one, the devil's advocate, looking for risks and problems. The yellow hat, its sunny opposite, is all about optimism and finding the benefits. The green hat is for pure creativity, new ideas, brainstorming, no limits. And finally, the blue hat is like the conductor, managing the whole process. When the whole group wears the same hat at the same time, you get this amazing 360-degree view of any problem.
Okay, I can almost hear what you're thinking. This all sounds great, but how on earth am I supposed to do this with 100 students in a giant lecture hall? And that's a totally fair question. The challenge isn't really the size of the class. It's about how we scale engagement. And you know what? It's absolutely possible.
The key here is just to be super intentional with your strategies. Technology is your best friend. Use quick polls for instant feedback or collaborative tools like Google Docs for group work. You can break that massive lecture hall down into small, manageable peer groups. That builds community and makes everyone feel like they're seen. And honestly, even simple things like having a clear structure and just showing your own enthusiasm can make a world of difference. So, when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway? The journey from just delivering information to actually facilitating transformation. It's all about having the right tools for the job.
It really all comes down to this. Great teaching isn't about finding that one magic bullet, that one perfect method. Socrates' questions, structured debates, the 6 thinking hats, these aren't just classroom activities. They are powerful tools that let you meet the needs of your students and handle any challenge, turning your classroom into a place where genuine thinking happens.
So as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this final thought. You've now seen the blueprints for 3 incredibly impactful tools. The only question left is, which one are you going to pick up and add to your own teaching toolbox first?